Good news for Australian nationals. In today's video update, we will talk about the reports, which confirm that New Zealand will allow 30 stranded Australian nationals through the border a month. Kiwis not able to get home are puzzled at the news that 30 Australians a month will be able to go home from the islands by transiting in New Zealand. New guidelines from Immigration New Zealand permitting Australians to isolate for 14 days in New Zealand on their way home have elevated concerns of groups up against the managed isolation and quarantine system. Announced through a circular to all holders of the New Zealand Immigration Operational Manual last Wednesday, the plan provides border exemptions to 30 Australians a month until the end of 2021. The said Australian nationals and permanent residents will be required to find space in New Zealand's managed isolation and quarantine system and isolate for 14 days afore boarding a flight across the Tasman. Immigration New Zealand mentioned that the new border exception is for Australians with restricted options for travel who are looking to go back to Australia. A representative from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, which is handling the deal with Australia, mentioned it would be mutual across Australia and New Zealand. A procedure is being formed by Australia and New Zealand to enable the return home of each other's citizens that are presently stuck in a small number of Pacific countries, where there are no direct flight options, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade spokesman stated. The process will not offer a managed isolation and quarantine allocation, and chosen Australian travellers would still be obligated to attain and pay for a managed isolation and quarantine voucher in the usual way. The ministry representative further mentioned that the details of the mutual agreement are still being worked out. But immigration counsellors want to know why Australians are being provided special treatment at the border. A spokesman from Managed Isolation and Quarantine emphasised that these border exclusions do not mean rooms have been set aside specially for Australians. Nearly all travellers to New Zealand need to have a managed isolation allocation system voucher, safeguarding their place in a managed isolation facility, or they will not be able to get on their flight unless they have an exception, the spokesperson mentioned. No rooms have been set aside. Our video ends here. If you found this video update useful, then please comment below and share your thoughts with us. Thanks for watching.